Hey, everybody. Welcome to Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists from around the world. First, we ask that you give us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and if you have any questions for the carvers and our special guest. Let's meet the carvers. Let's do it.
Interesting.
First, he is an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. He was a judge on season 3 of Outrageous Pumpkins on the Food Network. Paul Dever, welcome.
Hey, happy Thursday, everybody.
Happy Thursday
Welcome,
to you.
Paul. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Good to be seen.
Next, he's a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network, Matt Harper.
Aloha. Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
Hello. Glad you're
Hey,
here. Our guest tonight is a creative designer, illustrator, writer, director, and video editor from London, UK. Please welcome Douggy Pledger.
There he is. There he is. Bows.
Thanks for joining us, Doug.
You forgot to add idiot to that list.
Oh, I forgot. Idiot. No, I would never call you an idiot. Come on. My name is Michael Mondragon. I am coming to you from Arizona virtually. Also, actually, really, I am. I'll be moderating comments, chiming in from time to time, and adding some humor to the festivities.
Wow.
You look hotter than usual.
Delightful.
Let's check out our card from last week. The subject was Astonished Banshee. So Paul nailed it.
Yeah, it looks more like a school teacher. So it's Miss Karen Banshee, the world's worst 5th grade teacher.
I love what you did with the hair. That's badass. I mean, I love the whole flow of it. It looks really good, Paul.
Thanks. Yeah, I wanted to do more of like what you ended up being able to achieve, more of that blown back look, but she's got that Farrah Fawcett butternut look.
Oh,
Yes.
But I like natural. I see the natural curves of the butternut, the bell shape at the bottom that are perfect, and then the top of the other direction. I think that's how it goes, right? Maybe. Anyway, it plays out really, really perfectly because it has that same organic. Anyway, I like it.
Yeah, it was ephemeral Jenga.
That's
it. It was just piecing things together to make them work.
Is the mouth an optical illusion? Because it looks like it's so far back.
It goes all the way. Yeah, I was almost out the back of it. Yeah, it goes. The tongue went all the way. Yeah, it was like full finger all the way. I could barely get in there to clean out the back of the.
This is a family show, Paul.
That's what Cinderella said when she got to the ball.
Oh.
Hey, but yeah, the top actually was the opposite. The top was hollow, and I had to cut like where the hair is on the top.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing behind it. That had all caved in.
Wow.
So it rotted.
Yeah, there was a lot of rot. It was fun. It was a good one.
Very, very impressive. Very impressive.
Oh, thank you.
And that's unbelievable.
That is
cool. I didn't know what a banshee was until I looked it up, and it looked like some screaming. I think it's an Irish thing.
Irish folklore, yeah.
Folklore, okay. And everyone I picture I saw had these like blown out, and I was like, how do I make a round thing look like that? So I took a butternut squash and I chunked out big pieces of it and like made it into hair and put it all around so it looked like it was blowing out of it. But yeah,
you got the color matches really seamless. I actually, when because you posted like the progress photo of it.
Yeah,
I couldn't even find the seams when in the finished product. So really well done. Love the hair. When I think of a banshee, I almost think of, and it's not really a banshee, but like Ghostbusters, the ghost in the library. You know what I mean? It's not a banshee, but that's whenever I hear banshee, I think of that. And that's similar to what you got here and that with the hair and stuff. So damn it, Matt, you did it.
Damn it.
Lie dog you.
Great stuff.
Done. It's like every day, every clock that's broken is right twice a day or something like that.
Yeah, even a broken clock's right.
That's it. So every now and then you do okay.
Well, it was 5 o'clock somewhere.
There it
That's
is.
right.
Well, just like our guest, I work in pixels and vectors, and I actually did mine in AI, just like our guest.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
So this was actually generated through AI, and I actually then I went in and enhanced it as well. So I can't wait to talk about the AI aspect, Douggy. So again, it's really cool to do what we're about to do, picking the subject, because I was unaware of what a banshee was as well. I had to look it up and actually look on the kind of the history of it. So it was kind of a learning moment as well. So most of my artwork turns into like album covers. So that's what I'm doing now. But so Douggy, I'd like to introduce you to the fourth member of Carvers and Creators responsible for our carving subject tonight. It is the hollow wheel, the center spinner. And as always, Paul will tell you about it right now.
Uh-oh.
Hello, kids. All right. So, Doug, we have the wheel. What we're going to do is Matt and I, and if you're feeling froggy, you can jump in the pond with us, and we're going to take a challenge. We're going to spin the wheel twice. The first spin will be the subject. The second spin will be the emotion or attribute to which we have to apply to the subject. So tonight we have avian, derelict, guest choice. So think of something, if it's not on the board and you see something you want us to do. Not of this world, yeti, zombie, fantasy animal, classic monster, cartoon, and demon. The second spin will be hysterical, exhausted, guest choice once again, euphoric, robust, agony, furious, astonished, hungry, and disgruntled.
Ooh, disgruntled. That's a new one.
Oh, man, that's a mouthful. Okay, Doug.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm going to change this a little bit because I always screw up. I don't know what I want it to land on, but let's see.
As long as it's not the one I don't want it to land on.
Guest choice.
Okay.
So what?
Start thinking. You've got time.
Yeah, you guys. Now we got to do the emotion. Yeah.
Wow, it almost landed on guest choice again. That would have been a first. Euphoric. Whatever it is going to be, euphoric. Hooray. So you can take off the wheel. You can go on your own. No pressure.
So you want? What do you want? You want a?
Nope, it's not what I want. Doug, it's what you want.
So you want
So
to type?
we just need a
we're just looking for a character.
And we have to. That character has to be euphoric when we're finished on a perishable item.
You can pick anything, not even on the wheel.
Yep. It's not as easy. It's not that easy.
I think I'm gonna throw up in my mouth.
So what have you got? You got yeti, zombie,
fantasy animal, classic monster, cartoon, demon, avian, derelict, not of this world.
Is there anything you haven't done?
No. At this point in time, we have done everything under the sun. We just find different words for the same things that we've done before. We run out of things.
All the movie monsters, right? I guess 1,000,000 times over.
Yeah, the classic monster we've done a few times.
Yeah.
Once or twice. I may have.
I don't know. Smurf?
Smurfy? Smurfish?
A euphoric Smurf.
Euphoric. Good grief.
See? I love when we get guest choice. It's not as easy as it seems sometimes.
I don't know.
Because you get things popping in your head, but they're super specific.
Alien or mutant or, fruit. I don't, Cyclops. There you go.
Oh, Cyclops? You going Cyclops?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've done a few 2 or 3 Cyclopeans in our day.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I can think of something else.
No.
You're good. That works.
You don't have to change. Listen, Dougie, like I said, we've done just about everything at least once on the show, including make dogs. That looks good in a shadow, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Nice work. Okay, so euphoric Cyclops. Holy
euphoric
shit.
Cyclops.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Committing it to the chat.
It's committed to the chat.
It shall be done.
That will
If
be
you're
done,
carving, if you're carving or creating with us, we're going to give you 5 minutes to get your tools together, get your carving oil of choice. Meanwhile, we're going to go around and see what our carving oil is for tonight. Dougie, you said that you grabbed a beer.
I've got Guinness here.
Oh, nice. Well,
that's what I have.
So I'm usually in Los Angeles, but I'm in Arizona now. But Matt's also in Arizona, and he has a very special one from Arizona.
Yes,
well, kinda.
It's kind of. Well, it's a.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the same thing.
what?
Marketing.
It's a marketing gimmick, but they have a thing where they apparently give money to charities in the state of Arizona, and I was like, what better drink could I possibly get than Guinness that has my own home state on it? So cheers.
Is it a sunblock charity for people that come over from England that go to Arizona?
It is. It's an umbrella providing thing. In case it gets too sunny, they give you a parasol.
There you go. Paul, what do you got?
Okay, so mine's from Foam Brewers. I'm not quite sure where Foam Brewers is from. Sorry, it's double India Pale Ale. It's 8%. It's called The Shining.
Oh,
very nice. Oh, that artwork is cool.
There's the girls. You see
the
little girls. Yeah, and it's got the pattern of the carpet.
Holy crap!
Oh, that is awesome.
This could red rum me. It's 8%.
That is super cool. What's the brewery?
That's what it should be. Yeah, red rum. I missed the trick there.
Yeah, right. Foam Brewers. I can't tell where it's from. It's super stylized font. So, yes. And it's red. It's shiny red on like a black label, and I have all these lights. So, quite impossible to read.
There you go. So I'm in Arizona, so I have to get an Arizona craft brewery. So right down the street, there's a all-female owned brewery called Greenwood Brewing, and this is the Rosemary IPA. I don't know if it's gonna.
There we go.
The lights are too hot, but yeah, this is awesome. So
Rosemary.
Cheers to our creations tonight. Thank you for joining, Dougie. We really appreciate it, and we definitely actually Jim Bill has a suggested succubus as an addition to the wheel.
I know the short bus.
The short bus succubus.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not nice.
Sorry.
You're going to hell.
Come on.
No,
well, Dougie, I'd like to talk about your background in art, but I definitely wanted to start here because you actually have a very interesting story because you had art around you. Your father was an artist, and
he still is,
yeah. and putting out like his body of work is amazing. So, could you please tell us about him and how you were influenced by him?
Yeah, I mean, he just lives 5 minutes down the road, and he's the biggest nutcase lunatic that I've ever met. He's more of a child than I am in many ways, but he's always encouraged me to do stuff, even if it's not been in the same direction as him. My stuff's a bit more, well, it's not like that at all. That's nice, pleasant, lovely stuff for children. One's hellish horrors for the demented fucking people. But it's so he's but he always he can draw cartoons as well, really good, Daffy Ducks and Donald Ducks and stuff. But he always encouraged me to do whatever I wanted to do. But he always taught me techniques like airbrushing and mixing colors and paints and masking and all different things that you sort of usually pick up on your own, I guess, as an artist. But he sort of taught me how to do a lot of those little things that he'd picked up along the way. He taught me how to do, and I used to sit in his little studio that he has at home, and he used to paint sitting there and painting his children's books, and I used to sit there scribbling horrible monsters.
I mean,
Yeah.
his
Fantastic.
work is
So-
amazing.
It
So
is.
good.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, it's when you see it in person, it's
So it's in the blood.
I don't know.
And you
Yeah,
just-
if
You
that's
didn't have a choice. This is what you
But
were
you
gonna
went
do.
more with the blood. You went more with the blood.
It's in the blood. So you got it. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
I mean, it's so refined yet so like detailed, and it amazing work.
Yeah, he's still like knocking them out. He does one usually one a week, and the ones that he's doing at the moment are big great big things, you know, that are like huge. And he brings them round, and I have to try and scan them in on my tiny little scanner, and it ends up doing about like 16 different scans, and then trying to piece it all together in Photoshop. But yeah, I mean, he's been doing it his whole life, and that's all he's ever done. So that's all he knows.
That's crazy.
Knows what to do. But his uncle, Sergio, who's Italian, he passed away a long time ago, but he used to paint oil paintings. He used to do oil paintings of still life, and that's where he got the bug from. So it was all sort of passed down to him through his uncle, and yeah. So if it wasn't for him, really, then you know, he wouldn't be doing all this stuff.
So were you also influenced by your uncle as well? His uncle?
Yeah. I used to when we used to go over there to visit family when I was growing up. I used to see him all the time, and he was brilliant.
Wow.
So were you formally trained, or are you self-taught? I mean, obviously, growing up around a father who did all this art was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only one who taught me how to do anything. I did apart from, you know, teachers at school, but they tended to let me just get on with it in the end, because I was just drawing cartoons all the time, and I think they got to a point where they realized that, you know, I'm not going to stop, so they just thought, fuck it, just let him carry on. Which was, you know, it was nice of them, but they did, you know, they taught me a few things like composition and you know, screen printing and things like that. But I mean, that's such a long time ago. I don't know what I can remember of that. But I didn't do anything.
They're not watching today. It's okay. You're fine.
No, yeah, probably not. They're yeah. And then after I left school, I did an animation training scheme at the BFI in London, and that was all traditional animation with rotoscope camera, you know, big rostrum cameras, and doing line tests and in betweening and walk cycles and all that sort of business. And I did that for a year, and that was really good. That was in late 90s, I think. That was all before it all sort of crossed over to digital. So it was kind of like the beginning stages of it, I suppose. But yeah, what we did was all videotape and hand drawn stuff. Yeah. So that's the only thing. Then I just went to work after that. But yeah, no one's really taught me anything.
Wow.
Other than that,
I've got a daughter. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Nope.
I was going to. My daughter's in art school, so what you just described, like the walk cycles and some of those things, like rotoscope, that's what she's going through right now as a freshman. So it's like very, very fun to again, like I immediately know what you're talking about, because I can actually visualize what she went through. But then you just went right to work. So like you just went. Where was your first job? Like right out of school?
I worked at a cinema for a few years. That was really good. Got to see everything that came out for those years. And what I've worked in a bunch of places. There was lots of different shops and warehouses and supermarkets, and nothing really. What did I do? I used to teach children cartooning, and used to go to different schools, and I went to a few old people's homes as well, and sort of taught them how to draw.
Oh, wow.
Well, as best I could at the time, you know, how to, you know, draw different cartoons. And you know, it was for the kids, it was always just usually like a cat, you know, and then I draw the eyes and I draw the nose and I draw the whiskers and that sort of thing.
So what would you consider your first bigger, like what was the break that made you realize you're going to be able to do art for a living?
Well, I still don't really do it for a living. I kind of do it here and there, and I get the odd commission and I do some work. But if I actually didn't have a full-time job, I would be really struggling. I think, like probably a lot of artists are. But yeah.
But I guess in a way though, you're doing creative work every day. So I guess that's like
every day.
Yeah. I do it for a living, but for my day job. But it's not my art. It's doing
got it.
stuff.
Got it. Yeah, it's theirs. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's I've always.
That's a good problem to have, Douggy.
Yeah, I mean, I've always done it. I've always done cartoons and commissions and stuff. I've been doing it since I was 14, doing cartoons for my local estate agents. I did all their logos. I did a bunch of stuff for the local newspaper and libraries, and just bits and pieces for the town. And as I sort of grew up a bit and started working in London, I started doing a few bigger jobs for sort of TV and film and children's books and stuff. So it all sort of started blowing up a little bit more as the years went on.
Yeah,
nice. I still can't find Waldo in this one. I feel like this is where's Waldo?
Yeah, look closer, Paul.
Dynamite. I can't. It's so good though. So, yeah, it's.
So how does this one? I mean, how does something like this start out? Because I mean, I see the beautiful colors and everything. Is this a pencil sketch that goes into digital, or how does this?
I think I did all of this on Procreate, but some of them aren't.
Procreate bullshit.
It's like a thing on the iPad, like a drawing.
Oh yeah.
What I started until I started using that, I'd draw. I used to do everything on acetate, or I'd airbrush it or paint it, and then when I got Photoshop, which was probably in 2000 or something, around that sort of time, I was drawing my pictures freehand and then scanning them in and then coloring them all up. Yeah, fixing them up on the computer. So, but before all that, I was painting everything. I still do the occasional painting and here and there, but obviously if you're doing something for a client, you can, it's a lot faster and you can sort of change things around. And I don't need to tell you guys that, but it's a lot more, because all these characters here are on different layers, so you can move them around and
you can put them where you want and size them.
Yeah.
If
that was a painting and I gave it to someone, I'd just say that's what you're getting. I'm not doing that again.
Yes.
It might be the odd thing I could change, but with Photoshop, obviously you can just
so much going on.
Is it all around?
I mean, then you're one of those guests that when I go through their Instagram account, like I don't even know where to start to pull images from, because there's so many. And one of my questions to you is that how many, like for instance, like even something which, we just saw a super elaborate piece. This doesn't seem as elaborate, but I know how long it would probably take to do something like this. But how long does it take you to usually do a piece? And are you trying to get it done quickly, or are you trying to get it done the most detail that you can?
Probably quite quickly, because I don't have that much time to do stuff these days because I've got 2 daughters. So it's I don't have the time that I used to have when I could stay up till 3 a.m. and it didn't matter. But if I did that, if I did that now, then I'll be paying for it the next day.
Sure.
But so it's these kind of things are I do quite quickly for just for the fun of it. But obviously if I'm doing a job for someone, then I'm going to put a bit more time and care into it and give them the best thing that I could possibly can. But when I'm doing my own stuff, it's kind of, it's just, some of it's just knocked out, some of it isn't. I don't know. I don't know, it's difficult to say. It's all different. Yeah, that one on the left probably took a bit longer because it was a bit more going on.
Oh yeah.
Well, both of them actually. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch going on in both of them. Now, would you consider this this is your work? What you would consider like your passion? Like you like to sit down and do characters and the stylized, awesome cartoons and stuff like that.
Yeah, out of everything, I think cartooning will always be at the top of my list. I try and do a bunch of other stuff, but cartoon is probably it's where my heart is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
yes. Now we're getting into it.
Yeah. Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Now, was this piece like actually both of those? I'm a big fan of both of them. Were they commissioned by folks, or was it something just out of your
for you?
Just
love for it?
Just for the fun of it. I think this was when I first started using Procreate, and I thought, well, I'm going to just test it out and see if I can get it to work. And it's so it was just sort of seeing if I could get anything close to matching my normal stuff.
My question to you is, do you like it? What was your consensus after you just tried it out by doing these amazing pieces?
Oh no, I loved it because I was at that time. I mean, I'm working from home now, but at that time I was commuting into London, and because it takes a while to get in, I could sit on the train with the iPad and just.
Oh, okay.
I was doing this, and when I started doing this, I was doing 2 on one journey. It was like an hour, I suppose, an hour and a half to work. I'd get 2 characters done, and then on the way back, I'd get another 2 characters done, and over a space of a couple of weeks, I'd finish this off. So it was nice to do something when I was, when I should have been probably doing nothing, just sitting there looking out the window. But,
a little bit more productive to do this.
Yeah, right.
Yes. I think you chose right, by the way. This is absolutely amazing.
I know Muppet Show was filmed in England. Did you grow up on the Muppet Show?
Yes.
Is that something that was like nostalgic for you? Like, okay.
Yeah,
we all
big
did.
time, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, really loved it. It's
I was pleased. I was pleased when my kids were little. Oh, look at Fraggle Rock. Yeah, because so you're a huge fan. When I was a kid, I remember like being enamored with Fraggle Rock, and of course Sesame Street. Everyone grew up with that, and here in the U.S. But then when it comes to like introducing my kids, back when DVDs were a thing, go buy them, and I remember I bought this library of all the Muppet shows, and my girls would sit. I got 3 daughters. We'd sit and watch them. And they still have their favorites, like their Elton John episode is a big one, and Julie Andrews, and like all these other ones. And to this day, I just am like so happy that I found those and got them introduced to them, because they're like huge. One of my daughters like makes puppets, and they're just huge fans of it to this day. And I'm like, okay, I did something right as a father. Okay,
yeah,
I can die.
Right. Yeah, that stuff still holds up. It's not
always, yeah. So good.
So I told you before the show that I have specific slides that I picked just for me in every genre that you do. So as a big Young Ones fan, can anybody else name the show on the left, Matt or Paul?
No.
No.
On the left.
The one to the left?
The one on the left. You probably won't be able to, because after the Young Ones, Rick Mayall and Ade Edmondson did a show called Bottom. And am I right on that? Is this from Bottom?
Yeah.
Just 2 guys living in a small apartment, and so when I saw this, I'm just like, oh my gosh! And then to see the Day Today. Which was basically a spoof of BBC News, and there's another thing that you do with figures that I can't wait to talk about. But I've been binge watching the Day Today when I saw this, and I forgot how much I love it. If you haven't seen it, please look it up. It is phenomenal. A lot of people there's one actor specifically. That you may recognize from American movies. that we'll actually talk about later in your figure. Your work with the BBC, and you obviously grew up on TV, so like British comedy is like, for us it was something foreign, but it was so different than other comedy, American comedy. So do you feel the same way about American comedy?
Yeah, I had a bunch of favorites growing up. Cheers, I used to really love Cheers. What are the other? I mean, loved watching things like The Munsters and The Addams Family, and a bunch of. I mean, what TV shows? I'm just trying to think. What were the big?
Well, it depends, because there's all kinds. You could go down the route of like the campy BS like Brady Bunch stuff and Gilligan's Island. That was like
I never watched any of that.
Yeah, that's okay. You did right by yourself, and then there's also like the classic Seinfelds and the Cheers and those kind of things as well that were.
Yeah, I could only really watch what we ever got, which wasn't much. Kids in the Hall, that was one of my favorites.
Oh, I love Kids in
Canada. Was that Canadian?
Yeah, it was Canadian.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorites out of everything.
I remember having a friend that was from London back in the 90s, and one of the shows that they would watch quite regularly would be, it's going to be a surprise to you, Matt and Paul, Roseanne.
Roseanne was hilarious.
Yeah, and love that show because it was very real about American life and the comedy as well. So I didn't know if you knew of that show as well.
Yeah, we had it. I never. I think I watched it because it sort of it led on to Ren and Stimpy or something. It was
yes.
Two other good stuff. Good things.
See, but what about Married with Children?
No, never seen that. We think we got it, but it wasn't. Yeah,
that might have been the best.
That was like when Fox was in its heyday, like irreverent stuff like Simpsons, and then they put out that.
Yeah. So the fact that you had the day today on here, it's like that was like my second wave of British comedy. Benny Hill, Young Ones, obviously Monty Python and all that. But it's like the day today was like I felt so cool that I knew of that, and it kind of spawned other shows that I love as well that we'll definitely make mention of. So so let's look at well, you guys are just starting. Well, Paul's got some blocking in going on there.
Oh, I'm making a mess. I've done nothing so far.
That's barely a block. That's me going. Make a circle. Make a circle.
What's that big thing in Big Trouble in Little China that sort of follows them down a hallway? It looks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is there
that's funny
round cyclopsy thing? I can't remember. I'm seeing it.
So that's the thing. I don't want to use reference. It'll get it. It'll.
No, God, no.
It'll send me down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. So in your head.
I just saw somebody doing a replica of that online. Weird that you brought that up. So why don't we talk a little bit about the AI stuff, because that seems to be a hot topic right now.
It is.
and I like Mikey Rotella's take on it, which is cool shit is cool shit, right? I think in certain aspects, if you're really going to use it for painting, right, like classic painting, and it takes from other artists, that's kind of a bummer for the artist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any point to doing that. It's not.
Well, you and I think that, but there's people out there that think it's the new art. Like, I'm the best thing since Rembrandt because I can hit enter.
Yeah.
I think it's going to wear thin at some point.
Yeah.
People are going to get tired of it, and then it'll be on to the next thing. I think.
But now,
maybe not. I don't know. Like
the style that you're doing now, you are more augmenting the photo, right? Or the piece. Do you go in and you play with it after it's generated, right?
Yeah.
See, that I find hilarious and cool because it makes some creepy art. Like so creepy.
Yeah, it's sort of to put it in to take the results and put them in something that looks even more stupid than the results itself, because they all kind of look a bit goofy and like wrong.
Yeah.
You know, they've got, you know,
Yeah.
you've got arms coming out heads and stuff, and it's just
yeah.
I mean, it's sort of getting the more it goes along, the more sophisticated it's.
Right.
That's cool. That is
So
cool.
the one thing
Now let's try and figure out here what keywords I want to figure out what keywords you had to use to get this. Did it have anything to do with Star Wars?
No.
Okay,
I don't think. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I honestly can't remember. I've done so many of these things now. It's
all blur. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like people. I can't.
Okay, can I? Because I'm totally fascinated by all this. So, so looking at this photo, it started with an original photo of some sort.
No.
Is that right? It did.
No,
Okay.
AI.
No.
I know, but okay. This is part of this.
Yeah,
part
you
that
can put pictures in. You can put pictures in, and
okay, you can
add text and sort of mix them around, and you will get variations of what you put in. But I don't really do that.
Okay. So that's a perfect place to start. So this is derived from your imagination. It starts with something. So you'll spit out something based on what you put in there. Then what happens? Like you spend some time working on each part, like on
this one not so much. I mean, there's probably, you might have some more, I don't know, but there's there's not, this one isn't a good example of that, because it's probably, you know, I mean, these ones are pretty much what you get from I mean, you can sort of you know, tidy them up a bit, and like, you know, there are things that you just sort of like, you might just get like a weird like squiggly thing hanging in the air that you can just paint out, but that's all done sort of fairly quickly. There's not much thought gone into that.
Okay.
I just want to know what you typed in to get that image.
I can't remember. Just nonsense.
It wasn't like brunch at Applebee's. It was not. And that's kind of the thing too, right? You really got to think out what you want it to generate and know how to kind of guide it to get an image that's even remotely close to what you're thinking of, right? Or do you just throw a bunch of words in and kind of what spits out will inspire you to kind of tweak it?
Yeah, kind of. If what the sort of more the more detailed ones that I've done are sort of spoof magazines and stories and things like that, where I've got an idea in my head and I think, oh, okay, I need a pig riding a motorbike or something, and I'll get a bunch of those, and then I would muck about with those and then put them into a fake advert for, you know, a new motorbike for pigs or whatever it is, and so then I've obviously got something in mind first, and then, which tends to be sort of slightly harder because this thing's so sort of random and weird, you can't really have something in mind that clear, because you're never going to get it. You get a sort of weird version of it, but
hence why I would have no idea what you would say to get that image.
But Dougie, you can put the same keywords in 50 times and get 50 different images.
That's right. Yeah.
So you can kind of pick and choose pieces or parts of do you ever do that? Is it like, do you ever like meld two or three together that like
there's a lot of that going on, because there's sometimes you'll get one and you'll get a really good face in one, and then you might get I'm going to use that somewhere else. So it's it's a mixture of yeah.
Now, what program do you use to create these? Like specific programs? There's one
called Midjourney, and there's another one called DALL-E that I use, and there's another one called Stable Diffusion, but I haven't really touched that. And there's plenty of others that you can sort of muck about with for free online, but they're not as advanced as the sort of big ones.
The big ones you got to pay for.
Yeah.
And I've used DALL-E. I haven't used Midjourney, but I wanted to ask you this question, and it is, we talked about this last week about kind of AI, and my take on it was, it's just another tool. It's literally like going into Photoshop and using something, but it's generating different things, and you have to be creative about, you know, the prompts that you put in there and be very specific, and also types of looks as well. Knowing that actually helps to try to nail down the looks that you're going for. The thing that I'm impressed about in this type of work is also like the depth of field. How is there something different? Because I wasn't getting the depth of field in my things that I was doing. Are you putting anything different that like for instance in this one, or if I look at like this one is
it's all putting in old camera lenses and sort of old different types of camera, I guess, and film stocks and
So you have to be super creative about the kind of look that you want, kind of like
kind of. I mean, it does fill in a lot of the blanks. It kind of just makes it is what I do is tend to write a bunch of stuff, whatever I think's funny or stupid or whatever, and then I just keep adding words to it until it starts looking good. And then once I've got it looking great, or to what I think looks great, then I'll just change one of the words. So if I've got like a bunch of freaks like this, you know, standing in the rain, I might just change the word. I might change the word from frog to mermaid, or, you know, that it's sunny, or it's not, you know, it's not raining, it's sunny, or there's, you know, there's rats or whatever, you know. I'll just change one word so that set of photographs will all look similar. They'll all look like they were taken on the same day, you know, we're in the same location or whatever, but they're of different, you know, the different types of whatever it is, monsters.
But you can take, say it generates that photo, you can adjust that photo and keep certain elements, and it'll add other things based on keywords that you put in.
There's a few different ways you can do it, and
computers are going to take over the world in the next
that's it. We're done.
That's about all we have left.
You'll still have your pumpkins, don't worry.
They're going to be, those will be AI soon enough too. I God bless them. I'll get another computer.
They're gonna grow them themselves.
You're right. That is insane.
Yeah, like you could take that like lower right hand corner and kind of partition that off, and then put in that area something like
you can tell it like I want it to be right there. That's what I want to see is blah blah blah.
Yeah, like a, you know, reflection of a spaceship, or even make it like marble floor or whatever. You know, it's like
a cross-dressing reindeer playing Jenga.
That's it. That goes right there. Yeah.
You're describing my weekend, Paul.
That's probably what I was thinking of. I'm sorry, it just popped in my head.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow. See, like it's
the only trouble is with these ones is that a lot of stuff's beginning to look like this now, and the more advanced it gets, it becomes a lot easier to do something like this. Whereas this time last year when I first started using it, you'd get one good picture out of like 200. So it was much more of a game, and it was much more fun because you'd be hacking away, just banging all these words in, and then eventually you'd strike gold and be like, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's an actual monster that looks like a monster rather than just a load of like just mess. But now it's like you can literally just type in anything. You could just do that on the keyboard, and you'll get something that looks, you know, sort of, you know, interesting.
And I'm sure with AI also, it's learning. So it's like all the time, it's like figuring out, you know, I mean, if any AI generators out there, like I think what the you know impetus behind it is that it's always constantly taking in all the data and finding out what people like and what, you know, what
figuring out how we work, Matt. Figuring out how
again, they can have my job, they can have any job they want, but
speaking of which, there was an AI artist recently that was kind of accusing Adobe of that, basically taking the kind of like the playbook of someone who actually generates art from the ground up, taking those steps and putting that into AI. That was an accusation. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
If you get him on the phone.
it's something, yeah, it's something to follow. Definitely, that maybe machine learning is actually trying to learn exactly what a human would do to build.
Just like Terminator did back in the day.
The T-111 is coming for us.
Yes. I mean, these are fantastic. And also you're actually coming out with your own book, correct?
Yes, it's already out. Yeah,
You've got several.
So,
It's out.
yeah,
But just on AI.
yeah, I've done a few books in the past. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, I've done a few children's books and other bits and pieces in the past, but this is the first one that's just AI. But this was a lot of this stuff was done at the beginning, so some of it looks a lot cruder than some of the newer stuff. So, but I don't think you could ever catch up with this thing because it's moving so fast.
Yeah.
This is all gonna,
it's already old. Yeah,
exactly. It's already sort of out of date, but there's still a lot of stuff in there that I think's really good. You know, it's sort of it's weird.
But I think it spans like we'll probably get to it. But you're I mean, I'm a big fan of your Muckies series, I guess we could say. But I mean, that's where I think, you know, your life in BBC and advertising and everything else has kind of gotten you to a point. I mean, this is amazing. Everything I see here is just stellar.
Yeah, crazy.
And by the way, I'll say this. Paul will probably also back me up on it. You see faces that you generate, and it's like these are great references in a lot of ways for sculpting. I'm like, holy shit, I want to use that woman in the bottom of the frog. I want to use those eyes like somewhere. It's like, they're so good.
It does give you results that I would never have, like, you know, thought of doing sort of composition wise with the picture. You sit and think, oh god, that's a good, you know, it's definitely good for giving you ideas for things.
I'll say, yeah.
John Fuller actually brings up something.
Hey, Fuller.
It seems to get AI doesn't get the hands and teeth correct.
Hmm.
You ever
you said that about the arm being in like that's. Sometimes I think AI in a way is so abstract with the shit you're typing in. Like nobody's typing in Nana and Auntie at tea. With two rabbits on it. It's always like crazy weird stuff. So I love
with all this stuff. It's always
arms are where they shouldn't be, and hands are bigger. And so you're right, John. It's never right, but it's wrong. It's wrong in the right way. Like creepy as hell. But that's the other thing too, right? Like you go in and edit it after, right? You tweak the anomalies.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, sometimes I quite like the fact that it gets things wrong because it still sort of still looks like it's struggling, which I find nice. That it's, you know, it's not perfect. It's like,
you haven't got this yet, pal. Yeah, I got you.
The computer's so stupid.
Stupid bastard, you can't figure it out. But I love watching like all this stuff you do. Again, I'm going back to Muckies, but like when it tries to spell something, it's like it doesn't know language, so it doesn't know words, doesn't know letters, doesn't know what, you know, nuances to put in the right places to make it funny. So like so it like, let's just say if it was a burger chain or something like that, it said hamburger, it would say hamburger. It would just be I's and O's and like, you know, like shapes of letters. And they just don't go together. It's like so
I
fun.
kind of like that. It feels like you're having a bad dream and you're kind of really trying to concentrate on something really hard, and you're like, is that it? No,
It's like almost. I love that. And then in your art, you pick it out and you call it what they're calling it. And like, I love that. It's like, hell yeah! It's like, that's a hamburger, and it's like, you know, whatever. I love that part.
Yeah, like all these zombies. It was just like a series of zombies. So I definitely want to put them in there because I mean, they're so unique and so very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it very hard to take. I mean, thank you very much, but I find it very hard to take that praise for something that's sort of out of my hands somewhat.
Listen, nobody types like you, Dougie. Nobody types like you.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah.
No one knows keywords like you know keywords, so yeah.
Well, that's what I wanted to bring up. There was actually this comment, and it was like it was on one of your things. I didn't want to give the person credit, but it's like you're always going to have. I mean, you just as an artist in general, you have skeptics. So this is just like accelerated the skeptic in everybody. Even the artists themselves can't even, probably embrace it. So, but it seems to be where a lot of this art is going. So I just read an article, I think it was on LinkedIn, that someone says that as an artist, you should be kind of dedicating yourself to at least knowing a little bit of this, because it's going to be that prominent in the art field. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I started doing it, because I wanted to sort of get a jump on doing, because it was so, when I first started doing it, I think it's like February last year. It was so new and exciting. It's like, oh, you can type in stuff and you can create sort of dreamlike images that you've never seen before. So it was and then I thought, oh, okay, I'll do it for a few days and that'll be it. It'll be on to, I'll go back to drawing. But I was totally hooked, and it was spellbound by it all. And it was I sort of carried on doing it. But as I've carried on doing it, I kind of got to a point where I thought, oh, it's not just to do images. It isn't. That's why I started doing all those sort of stupid stories and silly sort of jokes and stuff, because it was like, at least I can put my own spin on it and say, okay, this is more me than just having a picture of a screaming face.
Right.
Well, that's the part too that always enamored me with your work, because you're so accomplished as an artist anyway. I think the people that like jump in with both feet and only do the keyword thing, and then they're just trying to that to me is like, okay, that's a cheat. Or the ones who are stealing other people's art, clearly that's something you don't want to do. But when it comes to what you do, I think each one of these has life in it, because it's your style. It's like you're bringing you to it, and
I don't put any artist's name as in the prompts themselves. I just try and be as sort of imaginative with the wordplay and describing how bleak and grisly and grotty and glum these pictures are, rather than saying, oh, do me something in the style of H.R. Geiger, because you're never going to top his work. It's just going to be a poor imitation of it at the end of the day, and anyone who's a fan of his work is just going to see it and go, that's just
right.
It's not. There's no point. You're just wasting your time, really. You might as well just download his pictures off a website and post those instead, and say, oh, look, I did this, because that's what you're doing anyway. It's like this. But yeah, if you can get something that looks, I don't know, it looks like its own thing, but because it's getting so advanced and so good now, it's becoming less. I don't know if it's becoming less of a sort of fun game, or a fun toy, because you're not trying so hard to make something look good. Though it's sort of doing it all for you.
Right. So do you think there'll be a time when it like becomes like everyone knows? I mean, if it's accelerating that fast, you just started a little more a year ago, right? And so it's like 2 years. So what do you see a point where it finally just kind of like peters out in some way, or it just gets more creative? I guess that's the big question.
Yeah, I think it's getting there. And when it gets to a point where no one can tell the difference between a real photograph and one of these AI images. I mean, I can still tell, because I've seen so much of this stuff. But every now and then I'll get tricked, and someone will post some picture of some old B movie of a monster, and I'll be going, oh yeah, that was done on AI. And I'm like, no, that's a guy in a rubber suit. Oh shit. And yeah, so it's or the other way around. You think that something's real and it isn't. So it's getting to that point where it's crossing over a bit, I think. But to anyone who hasn't really seen it or seen much of it, I think it's like it will just be, if you show them some picture made in AI by some old Dutch master, they probably wouldn't notice the difference if they're not into that. Yeah. If you said, oh, this is a Vermeer painting, they'll probably go, oh yeah, okay, fair enough. If you say so.
Right.
So it's it'll probably, I don't know.
I don't think it'll ever go away at this point. People are all about convenience, right? So, Mick, you were saying, like, in your class, like, if the machine's going to steal our jobs, why would we even bother doing it? Like, why would we even try? You know, if you got a tool where you just type in a couple of words and you could get your ad campaign or a painting for a client, and like you said, if it's a non-discerning person that doesn't know their ass from their elbow, they just have a bunch of money and they just want something cool. Who cares where it comes from in their mind, right? Fans of art and artists care because they appreciate the hard work. But people that don't appreciate hard work aren't going to care at all.
No, I suppose, if you want to cut corners and you just want a quick turnaround of some artwork, and if it's for, I suppose it depends what it's for. If it's for a finished piece of art, then you'll want to get someone in to, finesse that and tidy it up and everything else. You're not going to, I don't think anyone's going to, well, maybe they are just using it directly from the machine. Who knows? I don't know, but it's
well,
I don't know. But I appreciate real art a lot more than the AI stuff. You get a lot more, especially what you do, when you can get all the finesse and the style and the work that goes into those pumpkins. It's just like that can't be done, with even if you had a robot with a scalpel attached to it and you programmed it all into to cut it out, it still wouldn't look the same. It would just look like a 3D print, I think.
Right. Well, we are AI carvers. We use keywords.
Yeah.
Technically,
the wheel comes up with
use keywords, so we're AI carvers.
Yeah, the wheel just happens to be our AI generator.
That's right. And I also
alcohol.
That's all part of it. And I'd like to throw out something too with the AI. I'd like to see it do things that I need automated, like give me like 10 to 50 different backgrounds that I can use for different types of things. So stuff I don't want to do, and automate those tasks. And so it's not so much making something like no one cares if I make 50 different backgrounds for something and I can put different things within them. And I think that's another thing too. It's like, people, I don't know why people are up in arms about how this is all made, because they don't care about how it's made when you're actually doing it. And if you actually sat them down and go, oh, watch my whole process that takes like a month, they're like, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to watch it. For 10 minutes.
Right, exactly. Or even hear explain how it's done. So it's like this is
Mickey, you're dissing all the background artists that right now are tweeting out of the show.
Oh, I mean, is there background artists anymore? I think we're all background artists.
They're all AI.
Digitally. yes. But and John Fuller has an interesting Loeb, the AI demon. Are you familiar with that? Any thoughts on?
What is that?
Yes, I have read that. I think it's a hoax, isn't it? Well, obviously it is. It's not true. But someone said that they were doing this AI stuff, and they noticed some creepy woman turning up in the images, and then she was always sort of like standing around in the background. And I think it's they've tried to make an old folklore story that this woman's haunting the internet, and she keeps turning up in people's photos. I think it's that, unless I'm mistaken, but I think that's that. It's quite funny.
Well, Bloody Mary. John Fuller's possessed, so he knows this stuff. That's how we know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's another question. Okay, so say you put in the word euphoric cyclops onto something you've done. What would you come up with? Well, I think you have to be a little bit more specific as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could just put that, and you probably get something of.
You get something, but not as elaborate.
I don't. I don't know. That's my trouble with it now. That is you can literally just type in anything, and that seems to be almost enough now to get something back interesting. It's not you don't really get something that's that great, but it's still miles better than it was 6 months ago. barely get anything then, but now you can. Well, it just doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't.
So 2 keywords will get you something. Whereas it used to not get you some.
You're really screwy. It wouldn't really look. I mean, all that old stuff looks pretty screwy, but now every now and then you'd happen upon a good one. But yeah, well, you probably get something. You get something horrible, Cyclops.
Perusing your page, by the way. So I'm a huge fan of your Yuck magazine covers.
Yeah,
because they're the quintessential tabloids that are remarkable. But the grotesque faces. But then the thing that I love too is so you're going beyond just the AI generated images, but then you're making content around it and with it, and putting all the like your monkey stuff, like you're creating the story.
What is the? Oh yeah, I did this one. Yeah, I did this one this week, which is like a fake TV guide.
Oh, there we go.
I saw that one. Nick, do you have that one?
I don't know, but what I did was I printed it out, and then I sort of really mucked it up, and I wiped a bunch of snot all over it, so it's it's not. And then I scanned it back in, so it had it looked like it had been dragged through the mud, or it was like it really was like 30 years old. So I used to do that quite a lot with stuff. I used to made a website called Lunk, and it was a 30-year-old band, like the history of a rock band, but from another dimension. And the website was like a fan site dedicated to them. So I made all this memorabilia and magazine interviews and all this stuff. But I made it all, and then just took it out and just dragged it through the mud and drove my car over it and just really smashed the shit out of it to make it look, and then scanned it back in so it looked. And I did some videos as well where I'd film something and transfer it to VHS, take the tape out of VHS and run magnets over the tape and start scratching bits of it, put it back in, convert it back to DVD, put the DVD back on the computer. There'd be about, this is all for like the sake of making something ridiculous. Right. There's such a process behind it. It was just quite stupid, but I quite like the idea of having something that looks like it's genuine, rather than just putting a scratchy film effect on, in After Effects, which I can really tell that's just a plug-in or whatever. But to actually make something look, really used.
So again, that's the artistry behind it, because you're taking, all of those extra things. Like I recall, like back in the day when people had a TV guide, that was the only way to see what was on. And so you'd have this crumpled up piece of garbage next to the thing. And people had been flipping through it 20 times.
Yeah, drawing on it and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the edges are all goofed up, and somebody ate and spilled their cocoa on it, and like there's the pages stuck together. Yeah.
There was a crossword in it as well. People have been drawing in it.
Cocoa.
Yeah, I thought I heard that.
Yeah,
Apparently, it was a winter TV guide.
In this little thing, this one was.
In this scenario, it's winter.
Yes. So I wanted to add some of your other artwork in here, and they're fantastic. Like I said, I've
got that. I've got my friend. I gave that one to my friend, the one in the beans, but I've got him right here.
Oh, no way.
He's usually in my daughter's bedroom, but yeah, he's
there he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a patch on what you guys do, but
oh, stop it.
I used to make a lot of these sort of silly things when I was a kid, and make these little sculpted stop motion stop motion animations with my dad's old high 8.
Oh, no way.
Super 8. Yeah, no, I think Super 8. Then it went to high 8.
Yeah, Super 8, yeah.
And making sort of little stop motion films with those, and used to love doing that. So every now and then, when I've got a bit of time.
So what material are they made out of? If you were able to move them, are they clay? Are they?
Oh no, these ones aren't. I didn't do the stop motion stuff. I used I think it was just plasticine, I think.
Okay,
But these ones are sculpting.
Sculpting, yes, hardened.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's some older ones.
These are
So cool.
so cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Does it say boob on? My eyes are going.
God, yeah, something like that. God knows. If I don't know, no one knows.
Don't ask you.
But yeah, I think it was Bourbon or something. I can't remember. I did a little comic strip with these sort of little monsters that I made, which was pretty disgusting. But it kept me off the streets for a couple of weeks.
yeah.
So this I see this same style, I swear to you, in your AI, because like I see like the kind of the grotesque, like it's humanoid, or it slightly isn't, but you can tell there's like a head or face in there. It's always it always reads really, like there's something really gross about to happen or going on, like dripping or
yeah. I tried to try and get an equal, well, not, maybe it's not so equal, but like an equal mix of like just the hideousness and charm. Oh, not charm, but like a sort of cute,
yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't want to hug any of this stuff, but like, there might be someone out there that would.
Yeah. Poor bastards.
Jeffrey Dahmer would.
Yeah. I mean, you just feel bad for those people. But another subject entirely, and I totally like admitted I saw it. I like jumped up and like it was something completely that I've done before, which is take pictures of dog turds.
Yes.
So he's got, I think it's called turd is the word, right?
It's not working right now, but it will be fixed soon. Okay. Yeah, turd is the word .com, I think, or .co.uk. I can't even remember. That's good. That's
okay.
good.
So I had a dog that is no longer with us, but he would go out and make these every letter of the alphabet in our backyard. And so I would come inside. I didn't take photos of them, which was a brilliant idea, but I would come in and I would draw on a dry erase board what we saw. So, and then I would have letters like that looked like, a classic L, or this one.
Yeah, a lot of L's. Yeah, loads of L's.
Yeah, a lot of L's, a lot of, yeah. But you rarely get like a W or a T or something.
Yeah.
But every now and then you get lucky. But then we would be just enamored, like, oh my god, look at this one. It's it's a Q. I don't know how they.
Yeah, Q. Yeah, Q and a K, I think, were the ones that took us the longest to get. Because we'd always
you've got the whole alphabet, though. You've got everything.
1 to 10 as well. Or 0 to 9. Yeah, we got.
Do you have punctuation or?
Yeah, well,
that's
yeah.
Easy. That's colons and
It all comes from a colon.
Parentheses.
Ampersand.
My dad started taking them of his dog, a bunny at the time, and I think he did an S or something. My dad took a photograph, and then the next day it was like, oh, he's done like there's like an I or a T or whatever, and we were like, oh, we could spell out shit in dog shit. I was like, oh, let's try and get the whole alphabet. It's about 6 years, but because the fun of it was that it had to
natural.
Look like the letter, and we couldn't move it. We couldn't just like nudge it. It's like, oh, that's almost a Q. Let's just push it. There was none of that. It had to be. That was the nature of the sport, was to try and get them as in the wild and
in the wild.
Yeah. So it took us 6 years. And I think Q or I think K was the one. I think my dad rang me up one. He goes, "Oh fuck yeah, yeah." And so I had all this alphabet. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do with it. And I was at a book fair trying to hustle something or other.
What a bonding moment that must have been.
Yeah.
Son, I've got a K.
Yeah, and I met a bloke who does this guy called Andy who does web coding, and I told him that I was just talking about stuff, and that was at that time when I was doing it, and I thought, oh yeah, I've got this alphabet of dog poos, and I said, oh, it'd be good to have a website where you could type in your name and it'd bring up your name in crap, and it was working up until recently. I think that he got hacked, and so it's not working, but he's going to try and fix it. But you can, once it is up and running, you can, and it's all free. It's not, we're not trying to make a quick buck here. The whole thing was just for fun anyway, so there's no point in trying to,
Mick, I don't know if you've got that handy, but it's stellar to see. It's turd is the word. It's not working, but you can see it on his site too. But anyway, I'm kudos to you. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I've been down that path. I wasn't smart enough to take pictures of it. Damn it. But it's brilliant.
Cheers.
Yeah. Although I could probably, I've got cats, but that's kind of a controlled thing because they go in a box, and people would know.
Yeah, theirs are a bit more sort of stringy or sort of wet, aren't they? They're not like the classic sort of turd.
I think, I mean, the classic dog turd is where you want to be. That's
Well, in typography, I mean, you have your thick fonts and you have your slender fonts. So it's like the cat would be just a thinner font.
It's italics.
Yeah.
You can do italics. Yeah.
This was the last thing I would have ever expected for us to be talking about.
No, exactly.
When I woke up this morning, it never even crossed my mind.
Well, now you know, Paul.
Isn't it funny how life just surprises you?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, I definitely want to do. How long ago did you create these?
There were probably about 15, 20 years ago. It was a long while ago.
Oh, no, that you created.
Oh, the dog poo thing. Or this.
Oh, no, okay, no, this, yeah.
Oh, this I was doing a lot. Yeah, I did those a long time ago. But yeah, you could probably actually buy those now. They've got action figures have got to a point now where they're just sort of scraping the barrel of who's left to do. So yeah, I'm sure someone will, I'm sure you can get a Basil.
They'll snap them up.
Oh yeah.
I did those.
Yeah. By the way, my kids would buy those today. They love what they do with shadows. They love those.
I did those for the guys. They used them as sort of publicity for the film when it came out.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Great.
I won't tell my daughters
Great
that.
Movie and show.
They'll freak out.
Are
you
a
Flight of the Conchords fan?
Sorry?
I'm sorry. I was just asking if you're a Flight of the Conchords fan also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, great. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Sorry, off topic.
No, yeah.
So okay, so this is my slide. Like I said, I had
There's Neil.
I'm Alan Partridge. Aha! I love Alan Partridge. Steve Coogan is one of my favorites, and he was actually the news broadcaster on The Day Today, and love him, everything that he does. Obviously the young ones, huge influence. Love Neil there. And I love that the Chris Morris, I mean, it could have been from The Day Today, but you made it from Brass Eye, which if you're not familiar with Brass Eye, it pushed the limit. Like I think it was am I mistaken on this one? It was actually like taken off. Like it was a huge deal.
No, it wasn't.
People didn't see the humor in it. Let's just say that.
I think people that are into that sort of, that kind of alternative comedy loved it, and it's a big cult hit and but yeah, the general public didn't particularly like it, particularly the last episode, which was the paedophile special. It was like a news big news report on sort of local, the up to date paedophile news from around the country, and that was they pushed it a bit too far, but it was, I mean, it's still really, really funny, but a lot of anyone with that couldn't see that.
Right.
That humor in it. Yeah, they got upset, and people get upset about anything these days. So I mean, if it was broadcast now, I think it would be,
Oh
People
my
would be just
gosh!
like,
Yeah, I mean, this was
sitting
20
like-
years ago, and people didn't see the humor in it, and it basically was kind of like Sacha Baron Cohen, pushing the limits of all these different things. It was basically showing how the absurdity of how they covered these types of things and really almost celebrated it. And but it was a great show. I love that it was brass eye. Like the fact that you did one of these is fantastic. I wanted to acknowledge it.
I did it for Chris as well, because his office was. I worked in Soho for about 15 years, and his office was just literally like, a few doors down from us. So I'd see him quite often. I got sort of friendly with him over the years, and that was for him.
Cool.
So he was.
When I see Neil, and one of my favorite Young Owners episodes, when Neil, they're all like looking for him, can't find him, and he's out front trying to crucify himself on the cross, and he can't do it because I can't get that last nail in.
Exactly.
He got his feet in the one hand, he just can't get the other hand to crucify himself. But that'd be a fun little character to put, probably a little blasphemous. I don't know. People wouldn't see it, but I love that episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Chris Morris was also he was on the IT Crowd as well. And one of the greatest exits off a series ever. If you ever see that,
do tell, Mickey. You have to tell us because we don't know.
Oh, I mean, basically, he was. I can't remember the exact instance of it, but they were in a board meeting, and he just got. They were gonna maybe indict him for something, or something happened, and he just got up, walked to the window, and just jumped out the window, and he was off the series. Didn't say a word.
That's the way to go. I like that.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. So let's check in with Matt and Paul and see what they got going here.
Nah,
no, you don't.
I don't know. So I got a big long. So I have one pumpkin left, but I'm not.
What? Are you kidding me?
Every
week you say that.
No, I showed it to you. It's like, well, no, I won't show it. It's a round orange thing. So, but it just, I couldn't think of something to make a euphoric cyclops out of a round ball. So I stopped.
Huh.
So anyway,
I really don't know how you do that. It's every time every Halloween comes around and we try and do a pumpkin, and mine just fall to bits. I'll get barely an eye, and then I'll just punch my hand through it or something. And I really, hats off.
I think over time, Paul and I can now have this sixth sense for how close we're getting to the middle, and that's kind of a big part of it, because I've seen you can clearly sculpt too, and like to see for the subtractive sculpture when you have a void in the middle, so you're really just dealing with a few inches of space, if that. So it's kind of just always that testing, like where's the seed cavity, where's the edges.
So what happens if you do? Yeah,
I can go deeper.
If you do go through one, is there a sort of like an unwritten rule in pumpkin carving that's it, game over, or can you sort of fix it? And
it's potentially salvageable in our little world because we can take a photo of it and make it work. So there's a couple of tools. Like I have this little scraper tool, and I can get really fine, almost like baby food consistency stuff. And if I fill the little hole I make with that, it's good enough for a photo. I can kind of patch it for. But if I have to deliver it to somebody's house and this is for a commission for a Halloween party, something like that,
be perfect. Yeah,
it's over. Yeah, you can't do that. But for just our little fun purposes, it's you can patch it, I guess, in a little way.
Yeah,
just don't go too crazy. Don't stab it and then try to figure it out. But, although. That might be part of the design anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but
I don't know how you do it. It's magic to me. It really is.
Oh, look at that.
That's great. It's like a mad ball.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, like a high mad ball.
Yeah. Have you ever made casts of these things? So if you've done one that you really love and think, I've got to have a copy of that.
I've made several attempts, and my heart's gotten broken every time when I screwed up.
Does it not work? Or does it not set? Or not? Does it not
The first time I did it, because we've had some guests on that are just the best at what they do in the special effects world, and they say the same thing. You can mold it if you use this product, and this product shouldn't be a problem. Nobody told me, or I should have told them, I guess, it should have been a science project, that when I did a brush on mold on one, and I had hot glued it to a base so that I would have, the opening in the bottom. These are not live, but rotting, so it emits gas. So as it dried outside, I came back out after putting all the coats on. It had a softball-sized bubble coming off the front of it by an hour in, because there was no air at the bottom, and it needed somewhere for the gas to escape. So, it's a tough life. Tough life. We have pictures and memories. That's all we have.
Live and learn.
Jeez. Every Thursday.
You sculpt with other stuff, I imagine. You sculpt with other stuff, I imagine. Yes.
I do clay. And that's pretty much about it at this point.
Have you ever tried ice?
I have not. I'll say it all the time. I'm trying to come around to it a little bit, but I don't like chainsaws. I just don't like the electric or gas. I just hate the sound of them. Yeah, if it was chiseled, like I've done smaller wood stuff, like on stumps around the and that's stuff that you would normally do the chainsaw too. But I'll be out there with chisels and hammers doing it the old-fashioned way. I wish I was into chainsaws, because I really would like to get into other things. It's just I hate this. I hate even the sound, the look of them. Yeah. I like having two hands and two legs. I'm not ready to part with any of them.
You're into that, are you?
Not yet. I'm going to do that when I hit 50. I'm going to try out that technique.
You're going to saw off your legs when you're 50?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't need them anymore.
You're into that fetish thing? I read
about instead of swiping right, I'm just going to lean right, because I'm missing a limb.
John Fuller says I would try to mold it in alginate and then do a clay pour.
Oh, because that's what they do with human skin.
Yeah, you're right. See, that's the thing. And the other thing, Doug, too. So it's expensive to have the materials, handy. Though you would expect that you eventually would find one that you would want to do. So it would be nice to have them on hand. But you never know which one you're going to like. I might do this and be like, shit. Or like I scraped a little off the back, and the perfectionist in me. But like Fuller said, if you cast it in clay, that's the equivalent of scanning it and putting it in ZBrush. Yeah. Right? In a real world setting where you do it with your hands. So Matt and I both bought scanners thinking that's the thing to do.
Right.
I can't get that scanner to scan my middle finger when I give it the finger, because I can't get it to scan anything. It loses tracking. Like whenever I'm almost done, it loses tracking, and then it's all screwed up. So I probably need just a lesson in it, and then I'll go, oh, all right, that's how you do it.
Oh, you got to plug it in. No, crap.
Yeah, the $600 paperweight is what it is.
What's the stuff that dentists use? Is that alginate?
Alginate, yeah.
Right. No, yeah, because we used to do stuff with that at home, and but I don't know if that sets pretty quickly, doesn't it? That stuff.
Yeah, I think that's why
it does.
Because you wouldn't have to worry about the gas or anything, and then if you pour in liquid monster clay and let it cool, you have an absolutely perfect replica of it. That, because as much as we smooth them, you get to see a picture, but you can never really get all the tool marks out of it, which is kind of the nuance that I like of it. You can tell.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean. Handmade. It's like when you see a fingerprint in someone's sculpture. I love seeing that. It gives it that.
Yeah, you watch those old sort of claymation videos and films, and you can see the workings behind it.
Exactly. Yeah. I love that. But if I was going to cast it in clay, you can bet your sweet ass I'd be smoothing off all those tool marks and really trying to make it look cool. But John, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll take a roll the dice and at least do a test with it.
Yeah, because alginate's not expensive.
I have plenty.
If you did alginate and plaster, you'd probably be okay.
I don't know. would plaster take? Plaster, if you did like that hydrocal, that might work too, right? Because that gets super hot. I don't know.
Well, if you do, like, let's say I want to do a casting of, a private part, right? So I'm going to take some alginate, and then I'm going to, it's for a friend. It's for a friend. Yeah, not for me. So I'm going to take, and then I'm going to put it in alginate, and then I take it out, and then I fill that void. I can do that with plaster Paris, and then I can take that and then do a cast of that and make that into something we can reproduce and sell online.
Right, but what John's saying is if you pour if you do the alginate mold and then pour in liquid monster clay and let it cool, if you have monster clay medium.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, medium or hard. Yeah,
it might as well be concrete.
Yeah,
and so it warms up.
Stop it. Okay, all right.
The mass that's been growing very steadily.
I read about it in once.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. It used to just be a mask, like a vampire mask behind him. Now I notice it has an upper torso. I'm assuming it's going to be anatomically correct at some point.
Oh, yeah. What is that? Is that one of yours? Is that one of yours?
No. We were lucky enough to have a guest on who has a studio. Actually, Paul, you bought one. Paul bought one too, but it's a latex mask on a form. Yeah, so and I just have him sitting behind me, just to piss off the kids when they walk in the room, like, oh, but yeah.
Do you still have your Fuller Cyclops, or have you shipped it back to have him paint it?
I have it right here. So speaking of Cyclops,
yes,
John Fuller,
our good friend John, he sculpted this on the show actually when the last time we did a Cyclops. Unbelievable, right?
Wow, it's
a
really good paint job, Matt. But you know what? Yeah, go ahead, send it back to him.
Do I still have it, Paul?
Thank you, fraud.
Fantastic.
Unbelievable.
But I think one of the nice things about being able to interview folks like yourself and like crazy good artists is like that. Now Paul and I go broke buying their stuff, which is also fun.
I had my head. I was in a music video. My friend Dominic Hailstone, who's definitely look at his stuff. He's the real deal. He makes monsters and directs films and writes. He does everything. But he did a music video for a band called ISIS many years ago. But it was one where I'm in it, and I sort of I'm falling off a building, and my head explodes on the floor in slow motion. I've still got the head, and it's not.
It's your head though.
Well, it's a cast of my head. It's kind of like falling apart now, but it's
oh wow!
Oh, nice.
It's on my windowsill, looking out the window.
So your neighbors know to stay away. That's your neighbors.
Yeah, well, the house is on a road that children walk to school on. So quite often I see loads of I was actually out the other day getting some dandelion leaves for my pet tortoises, and as I was walking back to the house, I saw a bunch of school children going, "What the fuck is that? What is that?" I couldn't let them see me go into the house because they probably would have just like thrown bricks at me.
So the only thing that would have made, what would have made that even funnier is if you had Bert and Ernie slowly come in from either side of the window.
See that next time.
Hello, children.
Hey, Bert.
Hey, Bert.
John Fuller asks, "Is that a Steve Wang gremlin in the background?"
Steve,
is that
his
name?
Gremlin.
Yeah.
It's I can't remember his name. It's the Japanese
Stripe.
Yeah, it's Stripe. Yeah.
It must be Steve Wang. If Fuller's pointing it out, he's like a savant with that kind of stuff.
I can't remember the name of the. It's called Akura. Oh, what's it called? The name of the guy is Japanese guy, I think. Sculpted it, but yeah, that was a model kit. My dad painted that.
Model kit. Whoa,
he put it all together, and he did a real nice job of that thing.
Oh, a couple of tauntauns too.
Oh, this house,
Jesus,
this whole house is just full of this. This arrived today.
Man, look how cool.
This
I know he's
arrived.
got Gonzo. He's got Pinocchio.
Oh,
there you go.
That's the original. It's taken from the original Gizmo.
Oh my
No
god.
kidding.
And Sasha Finer made that for me. Sent it to me today. So he's the new addition to the Aladdin's Cave of Crap that I'm sitting in.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah, all the Muppets are there. But yeah, if you
I think I'm gonna start calling my office the Aladdin's Cave of Crap. I'm gonna use that's beautiful. Or Ariel's Grotto or something. I don't know. So I've got a little bit of everything in here.
Well, I hate to break it to everyone, Dougie, as we told you before, it's the fastest 90 minutes on the internet.
That was fast. Yeah, I wasn't. I thought. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Obviously, it's.
Did you at least enjoy your beer? I mean, well, I mean, you know.
Sorry.
now that
Yeah,
it's like midnight there.
Yeah, it's half one.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we have to end this at some point, but I said that this is maybe the first part of 5, and so one of 5. I mean, we have so much to talk about. You've been awesome, so we'd love to have you back if you.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Let us know. Let us know. I'll do another one. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. That was brilliant. And yeah.
And this is where we can find you on Instagram. Is there anywhere else that we can send people, or do you sell anything, or?
Yeah, I'm sort of. Yeah. I don't know what. Yeah, I've got a Facebook page, Instagram. What was the other one? And a website. And I do have a Twitter page, but I don't look at it because I can't really get my head around it. But yeah,
Hey.
Yeah, Dougie, it's Dougie.com, right?
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
Dougie.com.
it.
It's
It's a great page. I mean, I went down the rabbit hole on that
Yeah,
page.
it
It's
is
a
so
fun
awesome.
Stuff on there, yeah.
It's so packed. It's so packed with content. If you
So
if you
much
got an extra hour or two, go to Dougie.com and spend the time. It is remarkable. You're just gonna have so much fun. I was laughing. I was laughing out loud at some of the stuff, and you want to zoom in on pictures all the time. It's wonderful. So do that.
Yeah, and you're just involved in so much stuff, like the BBC
I know.
stuff, and then you see all the production stuff and the illustration, and you've touched the show Dougie. So Dougie,
He
Dougie.
Touch me back.
That's illegal, You can't do that here in the States. I don't know.
Well, here's where you can find us on the internet. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Guys, any last words before we sign off for this week?
Yes, thanks, Dougie. We hope to have you
Thank you
back.
very
Make
much.
sure you follow this guy.
A big
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
That was so fun.
Yeah,
Super
great.
inspiring. Yes,
Nice.
and look at that.
Cool.
You
Nice.
got
You got a
a,
new follower there.
there you
There we
go.
go.
Oh, buddy.
Thank you, John. All right.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Awesome. So we will see you next Thursday for another Carvers and Creators. We will see you next week. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for joining tonight.